a TypeScript Node Express and MongoDB tutorial. In the previous video, we saw the error handling middleware. This application error.ts base application error, so that we can handle. And we also saw the HTTP request handling middleware, custom middleware for handling HTTP requests. And we also initiates the user model, the user schema and the user model to fetch the all users from the MongoDB, this one. And we also made the MongoDB connection with the Mongoose. And so we can see what we have done in the previous video to run the server npm run dev. So you can see the server started at 3001 port. Also it's MongoDB also connected. And if you see the log today, this log, it's also present at the connected to MongoDB. So we'll jump to the Postman. What the API? So the get all users API we have so far. So if I request this user, you can see the 200 OK, and here is our response. So far we have done. Next, in this session, and the log also printed. In this session, we will see about this auth controller for the authentication routes. We will add the controller for the user registration, controller for the login, and we also add the authentication middleware, and also add this error, the bad request error and the unauthorized request if the user is not valid. So after this addition, if user wants to get all users, he needs login, he needs authentication to make this request. Okay, so let's start. The error classes to handle errors, the application.error.ts I already created. I will create the bad request.ts to handle the bad request, and the custom error class for the unauthorized request. So let me quickly fix it. So basically bad request class here extend the application error class, which means it inherits the properties of the properties and behaviors of the application error. I already explained the application error.ts file in the previous video. So it's taking the message and the status as the optional property. If it's not provided, then it will just throw the internal server error 500 here for the bad request. The message is passed as the bad request and the status is passed as the 400, which is the status code of the bad request. Similarly, I will create the unauthorized request. Next, I will add the request body validation, the request body validation middleware in this file, the request middleware. So basically, I will use Joy for that. Joy is a popular npm package used for the object schema validation in JavaScript. And Node.js application, it provides a way to define and enforce constraints on the shape and content of the JavaScript objects. With the use of this joy npm package, I will validate the request body. So we'll see in the code. First I will install it. You can see the joy npm package has been added. Now I will add in the request middleware.ts. So to perform optionally request body validation using Joy, I took the validation error and the object schema. Then I declared this function get message from Joy error, which takes the Joy validation error object as its arguments, which represents an error requesting from validating request data against a Joy schema. It checks whether the error object has details. Uh, if not details present, then it just return the message, and if the details present, then it extract the path and the message and uh, form a error message string and return. And if the path and the message both are not present, then it returns undefined. Then we have the interface handler options. This interface defines the configuration option that can be passed to the relog request handler middleware. It includes the optional validation object that can contains the body property, which should be a joy schema for validating the request body. So here I am checking the object schema should have the validation and the body. If it's present, then it's validating the request body or the payload, which will come by the post request. We will use this the validation body in registration to create a user. So I will create the controller next. The auth controller, inside auth controller we will have the register file to define the register function. If I go to the structure, auth we will have the register controller for the user registration. So to store the password in the database, I don't want to store in a plain text, that is which the user will provide us, which is the unencrypted or the plain passwords for the data security. So password are sensitive piece of information that provides access to the user's accounts of data. So storing them in plain text means anyone with access to the database can see and misuse these passwords, which where we also have the data breaches. If the database is compromised, all the password can be easily accessed. And for the user trust, storing password in the plain text erode the trust between users and the service providers. So basically what we'll do, uh, the best practice is to store password securely using the techniques like password hashing and salting. Here we will use the one-way hash of the password. Hash functions take an input and produce a fixed length string of characters. Hashing is the one-way process, so meaning it's computationally infeasible and to crack the passwords. And to further enhance security, a random value known as the salt is generated for each user. This salt is combined with the user passwords before hashing, and the salting prevents attackers from using the pre-computed tables like the rainbow tables attack. So we'll add this in the model, the hashing password function, and we will apply here. So go to the model, the user.ts. So I will use the bcrypt library to securely hash the password. First need to install it. Yeah. So if you search any npm package here from the npmjs.com, so in case of the Joy, you can see it says the TypeScript support, so you don't have to install the @type/joy there for the TypeScript support for this package. If I search the bcrypt here, so you can see the bcrypt don't have the TypeScript support. That's why you need to install the /types/bcrypt for the TypeScript support uh, in development mode. Okay. So I didn't install it as a dev dependency, so I am installing and install it again. So inside the user interface, we define a method signature encrypt password. So you can see here I created the joy object here with the validation. So here add user schema defines the joy schema for validating the request body. When a user attempts to register, the schema specifies that the request body should contain the following properties: the email, password, first name, and the last name. Then the register wrapper function is the request handler function that handles the user registration process. It extracts the email, password, first name, last name. Then it creates the new user objects, and then the user's password is set using the encrypt password method that's I defined a few minutes ago. And the user document is saved to the database using the user.save. This is the common operation when creating a new user. Finally, a JSON response is sent to the client with the status code 201, which is the status code of the successful creation. Then it's passing to the relog request handler middleware, the register wrapper function, and also the validation body. So if you see here, this is the validation.body object schema, which will validate the request body with joy. Next, I will define the routes and mount the routes and test it. Now run the server and check which users we have. And so it's run. I will go to the postman and I will check. So we have this user test@test.com. Now I will test the post route. Yep. You can see could not get response. I will check the server log. So if you see here, cannot destructure property email from the request body as it is undefined. So sorry, this one. So it's undefined. So what we have to do, we have to check the app.ts whether uh, we define the middleware to process the JSON request body. So you can see we don't have any middleware to parse the JSON body. So we have to add this middleware. Now if I send it, it's again tell me the 400 batch request. I have to check. So okay, we are facing this issue. The email failed to custom validation because cannot read property presence of undefined, because the email it's getting undefined. So I am able to debug the issue. If you see here, the required will be the function instead of this just required. So if I change this now, if I test it, so you can see it successfully created 201 response provided by the server, and here which object it's pushed. And if I check the MongoDB, you can see the test1 at the test.com inserted. And if I want to insert it again, it surely throw me the error duplicate key error collection. It's not properly handled. I have to return it to the client. So if you see the register wrapper function, here the error handling is not present. So I will put the error handling. So I have to catch the error. So I will put this code base, the below code base in the try block. And if anything error happens, then it will catch in the catch block. And it will pass to the relog request handler here the next, and uh, it will pass to the handler will pass to the uh, error handling here. If anything error happens, it will see the message. So let's check now. Yeah, and you can see it's giving me the error duplicate key error collection ts not, and email one is duplicate. So test one at their test.com it is already present. And if I didn't provide any of the email, then it should give me the bad trigger path email is required. It's giving me the error the email is required in the from the validation. Okay. Okay, the registration is okay, seems like. So if I check get all users API, this one I think, yeah. So you can see there is the two result test at the test.com and test1 at the test.com. Next, I will add the login. So if you see here, in the auth controller, we also have the login.test controller for the login. And we will also add in the request middleware the authorization middleware, so that the get all users will need the header to be present in that header, the token to be present to make this request get all users. Okay, so let's see. To write the login controller, I will use the JSON web token package. So basically JSON Web Token is a NPM package for Node.js that allows you to work with the JSON Web Tokens. So JSON Web Tokens are a compact and self-content way to represent information between the two parties, the client and the server. As a JSON object, they are commonly used for the authentication and the authorization purpose. So JSON Web Tokens basically used for the create JWTs. So you can create JWT by signing a payload with a secret key or the private key. This is often done with the user logs when user logs in and when you need to issue tokens for the authorizations. Verify, you can verify the authenticity of the JWT by checking its signature and the expiration. This is essential for ensuring that the token has not been tampered with. Decode 0, you can decode the payload of a JWT to access the claim or information it contains from the client side. Okay, so let's see the uh, JWT creation. JWT sign I will use. So during the login, whatever password provided by the user, we have to validate this password against the password we already have in the database. So we made the one-way hashing, so we have to use the verify method where we will provide the plain text password and it will verify if it's a hash match with the hash we store in the database. So I will go to the model and here I will define the verify password method signature. I don't use the arrow function here because I will use the this dot password and arrow function don't have this. If you see the JSON web token package, it don't have the TypeScript support, so we need to install the types slash JSON web token. This one. So you can see this package contains the type definition for the JSON web tokens. So we need to install it. So if you see the compare sync method, the compare sync method actually validate the user provided the plain text password against the store hash passwords. It will compare, and it will if the password matches, then it will give the result true. Otherwise, it will give the result false. And if you see here the JWT.sign, this is the function called to the sign method of the JWT library, and the email and user ID. This object is the payload of the JWT. It's object containing the claims or information that you want to store in the token. In this case, it includes the user email and the user ID. These claims can be used to identify and verify the user during authentication or provide information about the user. And next, we have the process env secret. Process env secret key. This is the secret key used to sign the JWT. This secret key is a piece of confidential information that should be kept secure. It used to create a digital signature for the JWT, ensuring that the token has not been tampered with. Next, we have the expired since, which is the 12 hours. This is the option that sets expiration time for the JWT. The value 12 hours specified the token will be valid for the 12 hours from the time it's issued. After this period, the token will expire and will no longer consider the valid and for authentication and the authorization. Next, I will add the login route and mount it in. It's already mounted. I will just add the login routes. If you see here, the argument of the string or undefined is not assignable, so we have to check the process.env.secret is not null or undefined before using it. So if I put here, the error will gone. Now we can test it. Just like the registration. Sorry, it will be the post route. So you can see the token is provided. So if I decode this token, so it is the website where you can paste the encoded token, and you will get the information or the claim information here. If you so you can see the email is the test one at data, and the user ID is here, and the expiration, and also the details are there. Next, we will add the authorization middleware so that get all user can't be accessed without the header passed, without the authorization header passed with this token. So let's add it. In the handler interface, I will take the skip JWT auth. So just like the login and register don't need the JWT authorization. Now, here I will extract token from the request header. And if the token is present, I will verify this by using the JWT.verify. I will remove the BRR part. I will replace it with the empty string. And second parameter, I need the secret. And JWT verify will verify the token against the secret. If it's verified, then it will give me the decoded information. Otherwise, it will give me the error. In that case, I will return the unauthorized request. If the token is not supplied, then I will again return the unauthorized access. Now I will add the skip JWT auth for the login and the registration. When not, now I will test the get all user route. And you can see the message auth token is not supplied, 401 error here. And if I supply the token, token validation is failed. It's showing me. Have to check. So you can see it's giving me this. It's not giving proper results. I will change the code a little bit. Now let's test it. You can see still, sorry, it will be the part 1, not part 2. Now you can see it's giving me the results, and if I change the token, it will give me the token validation failed. Token is not valid. Server crashed. And if you see the login request, login don't need any header presents. And I will test it with this new token. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Okay, so we added all the things, whatever mentioned in this project structure. We will add the more routes. It's just the login and the registration. So next we will add the more functionality and the more routes with the TypeScript. So stick to this session. We will meet later in the video. Okay, thank you.